and she was blocking my way when I was trying to reach for a drink, and she stood in front of me and did not let me reach the drink. So I said, "Hey, you have to pay attention because someone's back here trying to get something and you're standing in the way." Then she moved away, picked up the drink. It was dented, went back to put the drink in, and she was standing there again and she would not move. And I practically had to reach between her legs to grab the new drink. So when I said, "Hey, you can't be treating customers like this," she went and said, "Hey, I'm going to go and tell my manager about you and complain about the manager." So I was going to walk out. I was going to walk out and say, "You know what? This isn't worth it." But when she went and started talking to the manager about me, I went and said, "This person continually, every time she blocks my way, she does not let me grab what I need, or she's just being terribly rude." So what I said was it was social reparations because it's what some people do just to trigger a response out of someone and then look like the victim. And then this woman said, "Hey, I'm not going to let you talk about my employees this way." It's like, I was a cashier. She also said that she didn't work there. Then she responded and said, "No, I said I did. I never said I didn't work here. I'm a cashier. I'm not a stalker." And then she said she was a teacher. So like, so what are you, a stalker or a teacher? Should you be stalking? Should you be trained better? Then at that point, I left, went back, and said I need to speak to the ladies manager who was essentially ahead of her. And now they made it look like I was being racist or because this was a black woman. But remember, she blocked my way, incited me, and then said she was going to go tell the manager about me. And I was the customer. So I was really just defending myself. So then these two people came up, these managers who were like associate managers, and they said, like, what's the deal here? So I told them that, "Oh, are you the guy who I spoke with when they siphoned gas?" Like, "What? They siphoned gas? You should call the police department." "Oh, yeah, no, I just thought you were the guy. I already did all that. I just, need to establish that we might have spoken before." Then I said, "This woman blocked my way. She was being very rude. Every time I come in here, I've been shopping here since uh, I was 11. Like, I've been here for 20 years. And I've been a Walmart employee." Then I mentioned something about Walmart, cashiers are like grunts and they go and do all this stuff. It's like, how dare you talk about our that way? It's like, you just called them grunts. That was disrespectful. No, I'm saying I was a grunt. I was being comical. I was a grunt and I was fired because I got hit by a car. So I know that we're kind of like disposable. And I said there was never a time where you could be so disrespectful and get away with it. And I was saying she was being disrespectful and she was blocking my way and it was on purpose. I said, "I don't know what it is. It could have been a political thing or whatever. But every time I go in, this one employee is mean to me, rude to me, blocking my way, all that stuff." And between you and me, like social reparations, part of the thing that they do is they stand in your way, they block your way, they obstruct your sight or your way of path just to be rude, just to be a dick, basically. So all of that said, it got to the point to where they said, "How dare you say that about there? Like, what about like you're beating this horse until it's dead? Let's go back to the ciphering gas. You came in here and talked about one subject, then you switch it. Like, oh no, I just want to establish, have we met before? I think I spoke to you about this other situation." Then he said, "Why do you keep on skipping and skipping situations and skipping stories? Like, why don't you just stick with one story?" It's like, wait a second, no. I'm telling you, they did siphon my gas. I already filed a police report. Then this woman stepped in and she was like, "Oh, you are definitely escalating this. Like, I'm going to ask you to leave." And I was like, "Okay, well, I'll leave, but can I still shop back?" He's like, "We'll find out when the police get here." Call the police without even breathing. But I went back to the guy and said, like, "Are you a manager? How are you a manager if you have tattoos?" And then he was like, "I'm not having this. And then they started to walk me out of the building. So I'm like, I was shopping. This woman brought this out in me and then went and reported me. And I was just trying to tell them what happened. I said, "Look at the footage, look at how she's treating me, and then not making your judgment based off of what she says." But then she's like, "Oh, you made the girl cry." It's like, well, she was crying, but she was the one who went and reported me when I was just shopping. I just said, "Please, I need to grab this item and you're in the way." So it's all fake and it's all racism towards white men, and it's like treating white men poorly so that they react, and then using social constructs to completely destroy their lives. Someone like me who shops there, I was like, I want to report this person because when I was working at Walmart, if you rolled your eyes at a customer, you would get fired. It happened to a lot of my coworkers. Or if you're rude, or, but like they're just able to do whatever they want and be rude and mean. They don't get fired. And it's definitely because of DEI. And then someone like me who's just trying to shop is targeted for reporting something that I wasn't even going to report, but I was defending myself because she went and reported me. Who's the customer? The white male.